Well, welcome back to another inquiry series with Michelle Terrill-Heath. Today we are going to go unpack something that's really a cool topic, surprise. The surprises, right, Michelle? And
Yes.
I'd love to just start this whole inquiry series in a way through by asking you to tell your story that you told me earlier and to lead us into this idea of surprise and what that means.
Yes. So yesterday, Andy and I were on a mission to get a trailer hitch put on our vehicle. Doesn't sound too complicated, but we do have to drive 2 hours each way to get to the U-Haul place. So it's kind of a day thing. And we left really early. We got there on time. We had an appointment. Everything seemed all ready. When we got there, they were a little grumpy there. And they told us if we're gonna wait, that they didn't really have a waiting room, and Andy could have a chair, but I had to sit on the floor, which was strange, and kind of put us in a little bit of a mood like, well, this is weird. We're gonna pay them $450 to put a trailer hitch on our vehicle, and they're asking me to sit on the floor and
So you're
flyers
you're gonna suffer in the meantime. How many people out there have to suffer and pay for it? Which is
and pay for it. It was a little off-putting, but then again, whatever. Sometimes you run into things like that and you just kind of have to go with it, right? So that's what we were doing. And as the uh car got pulled back into the shop and we assumed they were starting our job, a very jolly, sweet man and a very jolly, sweet lady opened the door where we were sitting on the chair on the floor and said, "We have some really good news. Come and look." And Andy and I are kinda like, "What is going on?" So we just get up and put down what we're doing and go out, and the lady goes, "Look, you already have a hitch." And we're like, and she
surprise.
goes, "Yeah, surprise." And she goes, "You already have a hitch. You don't even need to be here." Um, she goes, "I'm just gonna check that it's all hooked up properly electrically and everything for the lights and all that." And I'm just looking at this going, "How could we not know that?" And she said, "Well, car manufacturers are doing this thing now where they hide the hitches, and the new cars especially, this isn't a super new car, it's a 2019, but it's not super old." And she goes, "Look, this is the panel." She showed me how to take it off, and there's a perfectly good hitch and the, sockets for the electrical, and she tested it all, and she goes, "It works perfectly, and, you guys can leave, and you don't have to pay us anything."
Wow.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Thank you so much." So, we left totally shocked, but also very happy because so many times we get surprises that are hard and, you know, like, "Oh, I don't have enough money. I thought it was this much," or, "Oh, I don't my health is compromised," or some such thing. And so, I would like to focus our conversation today, Sky, on, like you said, just on the happy surprises that also are part of our life and part of our world.
I love that, Michelle. And also, of course, like the aesthetic of our world, that's a whole other conversation behind why we hide things that we think are ugly, which actually end up being like a trailer hitch, which, it's the aesthetic of living life also sometimes has this hidden tool or hidden knowledge that we don't get to access because we're so busy with making sure that we do know what we know, right? And in this case, you found out what you didn't know, which is awesome. And surprise, it was like it saved you money, it saved you time, uh, saved you suffering. But also, what is tell me a little bit about because like it seems like you had to go on a journey even to find this hidden thing. So you didn't read there was no manual that I read about like did we have a hitch? Some people out there would probably think that like why didn't you know about your car? And but you took the 2-3 hour journey or whatever, right? To go do this,
Yep.
wait, and
Hours each way. Mhm.
prepared to pay your hard-earned money to get this done. So there was a journey. So maybe
Mhm.
speak about that because it seems like there's in order to uncover something hidden that's even good, there's still a journey involved.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, the word that's coming to my mind for this happy surprise which it was. Andy and I were kind of giddy. We drove out. I'm like, I don't have to sit on the floor for 2 hours.
And you just said you were moody, you remember? So, like, look how quickly that can change just by doing something, you know?
We drove away and we're like, now we have all this time in Santa Fe. We're gonna visit our friend Sheila. She's an elder friend. We're going to do some errands. Like, wow, this is great. So what I wanted to say was the word that came to my mind was intention. And if you start a project with a certain kind of intention, I think it's likely to end up well. And if you start a project with a different kind of intention, it's likely to not end up well. And just for me, I've been noticing, just personally for me, that um, that sometimes when something scares me and I don't identify it immediately, but I'm scared of something, and it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be like a big scary thing. Um, I get a little tough and a little bit mean. And I've been listening to the IFS guy, Dick Schwartz, and I was thinking about how all our parts protect us, are there to protect us, but we don't always understand that as it's in process, as it's happening. And I was noticing for me and Andy, like doing this day in Santa Fe, I really had enough time to create an intention that was really positive. It was really lovely. And I didn't get stuck in feeling afraid like I can sometimes, like just as a quick example, like we're in the process of setting up our jewelry making shop. And that is not my expertise or my wheelhouse. Neither is cars and hitches. But I've had to like learn about these things and kind of understand them enough uh, to be the leader in these projects that we're doing. And so, um, it was nice because the intention, instead of starting out in fear, which can happen, where I might have been disgruntled or like, "Oh god, we've gotta drive, we've gotta leave early, blah, blah." I was we were pretty excited. It was sort of like, "We're gonna have a day in Santa Fe." Um, and I think that that intention makes a difference
Yeah.
as you in a project, whatever it is.
Yeah. I wonder if it opens you up some way, right? Like, so oftentimes during an emergency or something, like for myself, I
Yeah.
often go immediately to um, really focusing on what I can do in this situation, right? So, like for instance, in the plane, like if you're in a plane, you don't have much control. And if the plane's going to go down, there's not much you can do. What I can do, though, is get myself in that journey in the midst of any kind of fear or turbulence into a position where I'm like, hey, I'm protected, I'm provided for, I'm breathing, I'm here right now. You get super micro with your presence, right? You're like
Yeah.
every second that goes by, your heart's palpitating if something's going on, like turbulence for some people. And if you're like Alana, you're loving it, and you're riding a roller coaster. But I think it's cool. You just know that you're taken care of, and that intention, I think, does really lay the groundwork for what surprises are lay around the corner. Surprise, maybe the plane didn't make it, but you did. I don't know. Like, this is just kind of one of those things. And it's a dire thing, an example. I also feel like with all of the aviation stuff going on right now in America, it's probably not the best example, but there's so much hidden, I think, from us, right? Like, that's good.
That's really what we're talking about, I think, Sly, is
Good.
the
And
hidden things, both positive and negative.
yeah, but you can tap into the good and even in the bad. There might be a shitstorm going on all around you. It's your job to, know that some surprise is gonna surprise you, and then you're gonna reveal the hitch, and it's gonna be there. You just can't see it right now, but you need to be open to it. I think that's the intention.
That's exactly intention, and also have an openness to exploring things as they happen because, you know, like, I think a lot of my writing is about the health, uh, issues and the diagnoses that come, and those often people think of as, bad surprises. Like, you'd think you're cruising along and suddenly you have melanoma or suddenly you have Parkinson's, or suddenly you have some other problem. And it's not really so sudden, but it feels like that. And I think that for me, I like calling this surprise because I think there are just as many good surprises, but often we don't notice them.
Yeah.
Like, what I will say with this example is with the hitch, with the trailer hitch, is Andy and I really did, after we experienced that, we really did take a moment to celebrate it.
Mhm. Yeah,
It wasn't like, "Oh, okay, we don't need a hitch, let's get out of here, let's keep going, let's get home early, let's do this, let's do that." It was more like a bit of, I think we can all take a little time to celebrate things more,
well,
and the good surprises give us a chance for that, but then once we're in that mode, we can celebrate, like you're saying, if the plane's going down, you can celebrate that you're still there for a moment breathing, or, you can we can find things to celebrate, and I think intention, awareness of, like I said, like if I'm afraid or not afraid, and then I think being open to celebration of the things that we can celebrate is really important to keeping, ourselves, um, living in the best way possible.
celebrate the good surprises. That's what I'm hearing. And make sure that you welcome the support of the things that you can't see, because you couldn't see the hitch, but you were open to the fact that the solution would arrive, whether it was with $400 and or not. It was going to happen. It just happened much quicker, and it was there all along. And I think that's one thing about this talk we're talking about, is that the good surprises are there all along, and that's the point. So, do you want to say any final things before we go?
Just that I really like what you just said. The things are there all along, and it takes it takes a human being to recognize it. That's all.
I love that. All right, well, we'll continue these new series to figure out, all the things that you've got coming up, which is you're going to be doing workshops, which is really amazing. And don't forget to like, comment, share all the good things in the channel. Share with anything that you want to hear about. We're happy to hear from you and understand like what's important to you. And if you want us to talk about those things, let us know. And join us next time as we continue to find a way through on this inquiry series.